Your business is in sync with LiveSync. This webinar is powered by LiveSync Accounting and Xero Accounting Software. Introducing Attorney Dexter Destajo.
Inventory items and services. Okay, so now we will discuss the processes and the items that we need to know about Xero products and services. Okay, and in this particular Xero topic, we would discuss about access, the setup of items, which are two types. We have the untracked and the tracked items. And then how do we apply the inventory items in our bills and invoices? We try to run over inventory report. Let's discuss a little bit about the limitations of Xero inventory. And then finally, allow me to share to you the other inventory add-ons that you can integrate with Xero. Okay, to access with Xero inventory or product and services, you can just go directly to the business menu, where you can find at the bottom product and services submenu. When you go to this submenu, it brings you to your product dashboard. Now here, the first thing that we need to do is to actually set up the items. So as I said earlier, in setting up items, you can set up untracked and track items. You can set up stock and or service items. So let's start and create our first item. Assuming our business is doing trading. Okay. They're selling, for example, bottled water, 1 liter. And then we are actually if we are buying this item, then we take I purchase this item. If we're selling this item, we take I sell this item. So we will put in our purchase price. Most probably our purchase price is 5 dirhams, and then we're selling this at 7. And then we put in the default account would be cost of goods sold. No, sorry, it would be inventory. For a while, I have to go and distinguish this type of inventory item. So what we're trying to set up here is actually a tracked item. So what's the difference between a tracked item and a tracked item? A tracked item is technically we are trying to track the inventory quantity we purchased and sell in Xero, meaning we have a ledger of the quantity bought and sold in our Xero. If you are not tracking this, this would mean that there is no tracking as to quantity. Okay, mostly you use untracked items when you are putting service items. So I will show you that later. So now we're doing a track item because we're selling this item. And take note, Xero would ask us what is the specific inventory account, and the default account would be inventory. Now, since we're tracking this item, if we're purchasing this, the default expense account would be the cost of goods sold item. So if we're purchasing this item, I would certainly use a cost of goods sold item here and a default rate of a tax expense. And then this is your default text for this inventory item. And then in the sale, I would use the default sales account. And at the same time, if I'm selling this by default in Dubai, and this is your description now also. So technically, it would be the same description you have. So once you are ready, you can actually save this now. So then we have our first inventory item in the system. So since this is a track item, this would tell us about what is the default cost of goods sold and the sales price for this, and what is the stock on hand. At any time, you can click this particular item and you would be able to see the details of these particular items in Xero, the accounts that is being used, the tax rates, okay? And then later you would see the transactions of this individual stock item. You can use the following options. You can edit, and then you can archive this as well. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do another sandwich item, which is a track item. So if you notice, I'm just copying this here. So let's say I'm selling this, I'm buying this at 10, and then I'm selling this at 15. And then again, because I wanted to track the sandwich I'm selling in terms of quantity and cost, I would use cost of goods sold here, and then a sales account with their default X accounts. No, again, I'm also selecting inventory. So then I have two items now. So then I would want to create a service item now. Okay, a service item, meaning we are not tracking any quantity stock and the cost of goods sold of this. So I would leave it unticked. So then what I would do, because this is a service, so normally I don't create a purchase item for this, but you can do it, that's optional. But my default selling price for this is actually 2,000 per month. And then this is also my revenue account. Okay, very quickly, I am doing this. I'm not tracking this because this is a service item. So if you notice, the service item does not really tell us about cost and the quantity. It's blank. That's the difference of it. Now we have set up our product and services. We are now ready to do its application. Now, the application to this is when we are buying and selling as this. No? So in Xero, when you are buying, you would use a bill entry for this. So I would say, I would create the first bill of buying this stock to a particular supplier. Let's say Dubai supplier, I call this as a demo supplier for us. I bought this item last 15 and I have a due date to this, and I receive a bill on this 2156.7, and then I'll attach here if I have an attachment for that, so for my reference. And then what I would do is I would go to the items column, and then I'll select the bottled water that I would be buying. So technically, let's say I would be buying a dozen of this at the beginning. I can always change the unit price because these are just the default. And you would see the lock-in account is already inventory, and you cannot edit this at the data entry stage. However, the tax, you can also change that, and then you can define from which branch and department as your tracking options would require you to do. So we're buying this as 60, or it's a very small amount. So let's say I'm buying this at 120. Okay, so 100 dozens of this item. So now I have 120 items. And then on the same supplier, I'm also buying another sandwich. I'm buying 5, let's say I'm buying 50 sandwiches also for this. Again, the default is the same. And then I'm selling this to my branch 2. And then this is also branch 1. Once I'm done with that, I would approve the bill directly. Okay. Now let's see what's the status now of our inventory items, the dashboard. So now you would see we have an available of 120 and 50. You can open this separately or individually, and you would be able to see the transactions for that each line. So it will tell us what are the bills involved for these transactions. So see, you would still be seeing an average cost of 5, quantity on hand, and a total value of 600 of this inventory. Okay, the same is true with the sandwich. Now, let's try selling this item to a customer. So let's say you're doing also an wholesaling. So what I would do, invoice, I'll create a sales invoice, and then I would say to buy customer. I'll create that for the first time, and then the system would actually record that as part of your contacts automatically. So I'm selling this on the 17th, and this is my invoice now. And maybe I will have a reference, it's up to you. And then obviously I would select what type of template I would have on the theme. This is a currency of AED. If I want to attach something, I would attach that. But then I'm selling part of my inventory in the bottled water, and I'm also selling this a sandwich to a customer. So what I would do, I'm selling 24 items at the selling price of 7. You can actually change this if you'd want, because it's just a default. And then here I would sell about 5 sandwiches. I can also change the price depending on your customer's pricing. So these are also default accounts. The expense accounts are default. And then I would say I'm selling this at branch 1 and I'm selling this in branch 2. These are all in department 1 for our demo purposes. So I would do is approve this now. Once I approve this, let's look at our inventory item again. And then very quickly, we would now see a balance of quantity in this system. We can look at this one by one, and we would see the transactions as to the date and the type of entries we're doing, the quantity, the unit price, and then we will still see what is our average cost, the value of inventory, and then the quantity. Now, let's go to the reports here. So first, as I would want to go to the inventory report, I'll go to the reporting sections of Xero, and then here you will see 3 types of reports in Xero, and then there are other types. Most popular type would be an inventory summary, okay, item summary. There's a new report, there's an old report. It's just an interface is different, but it's actually the same content. So if normally I would do inventory item summary report, which is normally what we do here, and then, okay, it does not allow us to show anymore in the old report. So let's do the new inventory item report. So between this period, it tells us about the transactions of this. What is the cost of goods sold? What is the purchase? And then what is the sales that we have? So this is one basic report. And then we can also identify sales per item. Okay, I hope this is still working. This report is working. Yes, so this tells us by item also, how much in terms of amount. Okay, maybe description, let's try. So all other reports you can explore here under Xero reports. Okay, limitations. The limitation of this inventory system in Xero, I should say, is very inferior type. Okay, so Xero in all of its functions in Xero, I should say inventory module would be the inferior type, kind of functions you can use in Xero. Why? Because the inventory system in Xero is purely, if you are tracking items, is purely for trading. So you cannot use this for manufacturing, okay? Another is if you are dealing with multi-warehousing, you cannot use this into multi-warehousing. So that's the challenge and the limitations for Xero. So what we recommend normally is to check out the other inventory add-on items that is available in their website, Xero.com. You will see all types of inventory system in Xero. I would go up marketplace, and then you would see different types of inventory. So here you would see all types of add-ons in Xero. So I would want to jump into inventory here, and then we see the following selections. Okay, so these are popular add-ons. There's a lot of this. But as far as we are concerned, LiveSync is concerned, their system would be the winner of all this. We've tried to implement inventory system, very less challenges, easy to set up as well. And then we have implemented, I think, more than 30 already of clients using inventory system. So what it does is if you're doing multi-currency, if you're doing multi-locations, if you're doing consignment, if you're doing manufacturing, you would have to select any of these particular inventory add-ons. So you can use, the second would be the Unleashed and then the Trade Geeko. These are very popular inventory system. The others are very new, but you can still try that out. So that is for our inventory, okay? Now, who can access inventory products and services in Xero? Well, users who have invoice only, basically all users who have access to Xero can actually use and edit and add product and services in Xero. And that is for our product and services in this webinar.